welcome to another episode of Sharing a Drink with Matt. Today I'm talking to the legend himself, Peter Black.
Hello.
Hey,
I
hey
can
mate.
hear. Can you hear
Excellent.
me?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Good.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
good.
Um, I usually start off with this question. Um,
And you have to
what
speak up for me. I'm fucking deaf as a doorknob.
I
And
bet.
doorknobs are deaf.
Yeah. No, what you've been around since playing in '81. What was on the stereo when you were growing up with your mum and dad? What did they subject you to?
They weren't My parents weren't really massively into music. They had a few things I liked, like they had a Roy Orbison EP, the Pretty Woman one. Um, my dad liked 10cc, so I freaking love him. And he also liked ABBA. So we played. They played ABBA in the house. Um, yeah, I don't know, just that sort of thing. My main musical education when I was growing up was the radio, and I think it was pretty awesome when I was growing up because there was a lot of Bowie on the radio, AC/DC, a lot of early 70s rock and pop. So,
Yeah.
I even remember like Beatles was still big on the radio. So, yeah, it was a very good time. But yeah, my main education was the radio. My parents didn't care as much for it.
And um, so they in no way gave you the incentive to be in a band. That was all you. Did they
Oh
buy you
yeah.
your first car or anything, or did you ask for it?
Oh no. Well, they put me in the Police Boys Club band, and I played the the cornet for
Okay.
years, like probably about a decade. And I wish I retained all that information because I did a lot of, I could read music fluently, knew theory, I could look at a sheet of music and go, all right, that's in the key of C sharp, piss easy. And yeah, when I got
Yeah.
into punk rock, I unlearnt everything, which wasn't the cleverest thing I've ever done. And that's
And
saying something.
start it all over again. Sorry, I'm just chucking that over there. So you went from a three-piece to a four-piece, back to a three-piece, and now you're back to a four-piece. How has the transition been from yeah from before Tim to Tim?
Easy. Like, I mean, we've been playing forever. And I just think a really important thing is to keep. I like changing, constantly changing, because you're constantly learning, constantly trying new shit. If you don't, me personally, anyway, I think that's a very unhealthy way to be with your music, be with your art. Um, I know some people like, I only like this and I only like that. And I mean, that's pretty cool too, if that's what you're into. But, so for us trying different things and, transitioning from one, member to the next, if it feels good, we just do it. It's absolutely no big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
With Tim, I got to say, it's fucking phenomenal because his vocal ability and his
Yeah,
enthusiasm and what he does to the melodies and the flourishes that he adds and that sort of thing. He plays around with the melody as well. It's pretty awesome. It's a really fun thing it's a tool that, we haven't had before. And it's quite an eye opener at times.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And that's what it should be. I mean, when Murray joined, that was an eye opener. When Peter joined, it was, far out, how good's this? It's, if it feels good, we go with it.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Um, you're saying you've got a kid. How old's your son?
He's 34.
Oh, okay. As a child, um, did you let him listen to you got your albums as a preteen?
I do remember one time when he was visiting me and I was checking out some demos, and I'm pretty sure they were nunchucker demos because it was when nunchuck was starting. He was lying down on the floor coloring in, and he stops and he goes, "Hey, Dad, is this you?" And I went, "Yeah." And he goes, "Fuck, it's so shit." And he kept coloring in, and then another song came on, and he looks up again. And he goes, "Is this you again?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "It's even worse than the other song." But no, I find it funny when you get parents who say to me, "Have you educated him yet?" And it's like, man, he can fucking grow up and like what he likes, you know? So he has come to
Exactly.
see us play a few times, and I've even given his band, uh, when he had a band, a gig as well, which, obviously I was chuffed about, but he's into his own stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's the way it should be.
yeah. Well, on that subject, Snoop Dogg in an interview was asked, has he still got that degradation of women in his mind and blah 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 blah. Do you guys, not that you degraded women, it was all in all fun. It was just that you in the later albums it seems like it sounds like you've grown
Well, I
as
hope
a band.
so. I mean, I don't think we
Don't
were
take me
ever.
wrong.
Sorry?
Don't take me wrong. Yeah, it was just
No, I mean, I guess you got to understand we were very idiotic, young, naive kids who grew up in a boys' school. So we were terrified of women because we didn't know how to talk to them, didn't know how to approach them, nothing. So a lot of our lyrics when we were starting out, or there was a lot of us thinking, well, we're punk rock, we have to be shocking, and doing it in the most immature fucking way ever. Whether that's I don't know how to put it.
no, that pretty much answers the question.
Yeah, no, yeah. Look, I just think when we were younger, obviously a lot of naivety, a lot of wanting to shock,
Yeah.
and yeah, hopefully as we grow up, each day want to learn something new and, hopefully wanting to be a fucking better person.
So your solo, I want to hear more about your solo career. How 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 do you find time for one? The yeah, how,
I
how you got
it's
time?
very difficult. Look, I struggle, um, especially with the solo stuff because it normally gets left to last. Because to be honest, the solo stuff, I wish more people dug it, but I struggle with it. But just I'm about to start mixing two new solo records, and I've been working on them, maybe for the last 2 years. And I seriously find, in between work, in between other Commitments, oh, far out. I've got Tuesday free. I've got 4 hours. I'll ring up, the studio and see if I could come in and yeah, blast away. So yeah, it's a lot of people say, oh, why don't you do this and why don't you do that and why don't you do this? And it's like, well, you got to understand, all of us have day jobs and we fit in the music around us, paying for rent and looking after families.
Back to your solo stuff. Is that your main? Well, better off doing it this way. What is your main project?
I don't have one. To me, my main project is music. I just like music
In general? Yeah.
in general. Like I love it to death. It gives me insane amount of pleasure and I want to do it. And people always say, "Oh, nunchuck, it's your side project," and it's like it's not. I don't have a fucking side project.
Yeah.
I love all the music that I do, 100%. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. And I get a buzz out of all of them, and they're all different.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. Is there anything coming out? Oh, you were saying the two albums for your solo, but with Nunchucker and Hard Ons, is there anything coming out?
Yeah, there's a nunchucker recording that we did in '95 that
Ah,
James, the vocalist at the time, rediscovered and played it to the rest of us and goes, "Fire! Look what we did, 30 odd years ago. We've got to put this out." And yeah, we are.
yeah.
Also, Ardens are back in the studio in 3 weeks' time. We'll have something out by August, and then Nunchucker will have something out. I'm hoping by September. And yeah, with my new solo stuff, I don't know. Whenever I finish mixing it,
Like there was, how did you I suppose you can say you didn't fall for peer group pressure or anything, but there was a lot of drugs in the 80s in the music scene. Not just, I'm not talking about the punters, I'm talking about the bands themselves. It was drugs, drugs, drugs. How did you kind of distance yourself from that? Because like I've seen you a million times and I haven't even seen you have a beer.
I just wasn't interested. I just find that shit boring. If
Yeah.
you say there was drugs everywhere, I'm I'm sure it's for, not just the music scene, it's for anyone. Like if people
Oh,
want to, fucking immerse themselves in drugs, I don't think they need a music scene for it. You can find that
no.
stuff anywhere. Whatever you're into, you're into. I just wasn't into it.
Yeah.
I think I was lucky my dad was a fitness coach, so I just got into that sort of shit, and it's just something else I really enjoy. I just like
Yeah.
that feeling. For me, that's it makes me feel really centered. And I just think the fitter I am, the sicker my riffs are going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I wanted to ask, um, do you, I don't know, how do you, with the three different genres that you play, more or less, how do you separate them? Like, do you make up a song, sit in the lounge and, oh, I like that song, that will go to that band or that band or that band?
That's I don't know. That's actually really easy because you can sort of hear. I mean, It's like my head's a radio. I'm constantly fooling around with ideas and riffs and melodies and shit. And when I start coming together, it's pretty easy to hear it and go, That would be really sick with Murray drumming, or far out. I'd love to give this song to for Tim to try, or you know,
Yeah,
I reckon I could do this on the acoustic. It's
yeah,
easy. People always ask me that, but it's like I don't really know, except it just seems obvious when it happens. There's no rhyme or reason. It just happens, and it doesn't even require any thought. I think
mm,
me personally, everyone has their own way of coming up with their stuff, but I think in an artistic sense, I really like. I think overthinking is not healthy.
yeah, yeah.
I like stream of
That's
consciousness shit a lot.
well, no, that's actually that's a good way of answering that question. Um, yeah, you got me on that. Yeah. Um, so what is your favorite genre? What is it that you listen to?
It depends which day you ask me. I like it all. Obviously, I love guitar based music probably more than anything else. I really like punk rock. I really love metal, and I absolutely adore pop. And I think if I was on a desert island, I would have to take something. Say, I'd want to cover everything. I would need a Discharge record. I would need I would probably need a Sly and a Family Stone record. I would definitely need some Beatles. Definitely. I would need some Lee Scratch Perry. There's just fuck. There's tons. I'm one of those geeks. I'm enthralled by music, and I'm always searching, learning, listening. Even shit that I don't like, I listen to it, and I even try to analyze to myself why don't I like it, because
Yeah,
even that way I can learn something from that I don't particularly enjoy, and sort of ask myself, well, why, when a lot of my friends dig this. But I just think I like more than I dislike, let's put it that way. When people are like, oh man, I can't stand that shit, I'm always like, it's all right.
yeah. Well, I think I say this in every interview, but there is a gem in every genre. That,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I think the stuff that hits you when you're a kid is the strongest. Like, I'm always going to have a really, really special affinity with ACDC, because growing up as a kid in Australia and listening to that is, it's really fucking powerful. And, then things that, I'd go to my mates' places and we would play Hendrix record, or we'd play Van Halen records, or we'd play Beatles records. A lot of the times that music that hits you when you're a kid has a very, very profound sort of place in your musical heart, I guess. Um, but as it just depends. Yeah, as I said before, like me and Ray in particular, we're really voracious music lovers. So there's always light bulb moments where we hear something and go, "Fuck, have you heard this?" Type of thing. Um,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, that stuff that hits when you're a kid is pretty pretty special. But
Oh, definitely.
I love it all.
Um,
The only thing I don't like is I don't like opera, and I don't like river dance.
okay. It's sorry about the, the lack of professionalism. I guess it's I'm quite nervous talking to you, Peter. You, I've been a big fan for a long, long time, like a long, long time.
Man, well, that's very, very appreciated, and you got nothing to be nervous about. I'm just fuck. I can blabber on though sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Um, Does Ray still do the artwork for the albums?
What's that?
Does Ray still do the artwork for the albums?
Oh yeah, he's utterly in charge of that shit.
Yeah, he's always. And when you listen to the albums, you can actually, and then you see the cover and that again. It kind of tells a story in itself. The
Yeah. Even when there's an album cover with a photo, that's Ray's idea, because sometimes it's like, oh, I've done this too many times. I want to try a photo, now I want to go back to blah blah blah. I know he did text me the other day with a suggestion for the record that we're working on now, and he goes, I want to call it this, and I got something in mind. Leave it with me. I'll get back to you. I just laughed away. Of course, I can't do visual art for shit. So, the band's very lucky that there's, a freakingly awesome visual artist in there
yeah, yeah,
that,
definitely,
people can identify with. It's very lucky.
yeah, for sure. Um, so you've known Ray most of your life, I guess.
More. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Since primary school.
yeah, yeah. Um, do other like if you did another project, um, other than solo, would you guys be doing it together again, or that's just something you couldn't answer?
Well, look, we've got two bands together.
Yeah,
That's probably enough. I mean, and Ray got to play with the Victims.
yeah, I
You know, he
saw that.
talks
It was,
about he talks about doing something, on his own as well.
mm,
Uh, even like on the one of the last solo records I did, I got him in to play bass on a couple of tracks. It's
mhm,
Yeah, we're always, we're like brothers, so we're there for each other. But we do have two bands together already, and if you keep playing with the same people, you might be repeating yourselves, and that's something we're both pretty
yeah,
conscious of, I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. What's on your stereo? Oh yeah, iPod or your phone or what are you listening to at the moment?
The last two things I listened to, I'll show you. I listened to the Dennis Wilson record, which I brought on vinyl. I had the
Uh,
CD of it, and I just read Sly Stone's memoir, so I'm going back over his catalog as well. And they were the last two things I played. But today I'm going back to the 19th Nervous Breakdown record shop to buy the second album by Ultravox.
oh wow.
I'm not kidding when I say I'm a music geek. I fucking love it. If you saw my record collection, actually, if you saw Ray's fucking record collection, because he
Oh,
works in
God.
a record shop, sometimes he even
Mm,
rings me. He goes, "You'll never fucking believe what I found." And, I
mm,
wouldn't say I'm a collector. I just
mm.
love the shit and, love to have it. Um, but yeah, it's
Yeah, done a few collaborations with other bands. I guess you could call Henry Rollins, Stupids. Um, have you done any more other than those two? Seven
there's
Split.
something in the works that I can't really talk about right now, but let's just say me and Ray and Murray are stupidly excited because it's someone from a band that I hold in absolute high esteem, and it's coming together slowly, but I'm beyond excited by it. So,
Yeah.
yes, yes, definitely. I mean, that sort of stuff. Okay, sometimes a lot of the times when people collaborate, it can turn into cornball shit.
Mm.
Um, but other times it could be pretty special. And I think what we're doing with is, well, for us anyway, it's very special. It really, fuck, it's hitting me there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm.
so that's all I can.
So,
That's all I can say about it right now. My people will talk to your people later. Before that, I was listening to a Yabby U record. Then I was listening to a Discharge Singles album. Then I was listening to a Plasmatics record.
yeah.
Uh,
That's Wendigo.
then I was listening to some Poison Idea. Uh, Look, I guess it's fucking endless. But I also got to be honest. I can't. I do listen to I mainly listen music at nighttime when I'm finished because during the day I got to work, and when I finish work, which is usually after lunchtime, I work on the bands. I practice the guitar, demo shit, write lyrics, all that sort of stuff. So I don't get to listen to music for pleasure until nighttime. A lot of the
Uh-huh.
times, or when I'm driving, and then I'll just whatever I feel like listening to while I'm making myself dinner. So I can't listen to as much music as I want to because you're constantly working on your own stuff as well. And you got to leave your head empty for ideas to pop up too.
Yeah. I know I've asked you this, but I'm just trying to get my head around it. Um, do you go? This is going to be Numchuck a song, and play a song, or this is going to be a hard on song, or this is going to be my solo band blah 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 song. Is how do you work it out? How do you know what's
It's
supposed to go? Like how do you
my
know which draw to
my
pick?
answer is going to be exactly the same. It's just something. It's actually very easy. When a song pops into your head, you just be free with it, and it normally tells you where it wants to go
Okay, yeah,
and where it's going to sound the best. What's going to do the track. Make it sound. You know, give it some give it some juice.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah.
Is it? Do you ever have a break? Like just go on holidays or anything? Because there's always
Not
something going.
really. It's not something I can afford, and I guess I sort of do treat when we're lucky enough to go overseas.
Yeah,
I'll treat that as a break, and
yeah,
I'll sometimes like go a little bit earlier, spend a few days sightseeing or visiting friends and things like that. I also try really hard now to make the weekend because the weeks are so busy with rehearsing and all the PT work. I try to make the weekends free so I can, spend it with my family and with my girl. Uh, but I'm not lucky enough or rich enough to take too many holidays. So
uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
speaking of which, as I said before, I'm going to have to vamoose because
Yeah,
today
yeah,
one of
yeah.
those rare
Move
moments where I
on,
get to see my boy.
girlfriend. Yeah, no, that's family first, mate. Family first.
I know, I
Yeah,
can't wait.
Hey,
he's really busy. He's a Sparky, so he's works fucked up hours, and a lot of the weekends he's recovering from the work week, and yeah, he's put aside the Savo for me, so I'm there.
yeah, for sure, man. That's great. Thank you for speaking to me. Hey, having a chat. I really appreciate it.
Mate,
Sorry
it's a
again
pleasure.
for the nervousness. Um, yeah, I'm not usually like that, but yeah,
Mate, you're fine. Trust me, you're fine.
I've got an interview with Fred Negro. I don't know how I'm gonna feel with that. The Mark and Wayne, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that either. Yeah,
You're gonna be fine.
yeah.
Be sure he's loud.